Hi everyone. In this video lesson, we'll be looking at how we can use the ideas of successive ionization energies to come up with the understanding of the arrangement of electrons in an atom, or proof of the arrangements of electrons in an atom, meaning that knowing that electrons in different shells around the nucleus. Now, what are successive ionization energies? The idea is that you can remove electrons from a mole of atoms one electron at a time. For example, let's look at the element of beryllium. Now, beryllium has four electrons in its atom, arranged we know as there are four electrons arranged, two in the first shell, two in the second shell. So what we can do is we can remove all four electrons one by one from the atom of beryllium. I can start with the first ionization energy of beryllium. That would be when beryllium gaseous atom loses 1 mole of electrons to become 1 mole of gaseous ions. That would be the first ionization energy. Then I'd go from the first to the second. We call this the second ionization energy. The first one was going from 4 electrons to 3 electrons, and the second one is going from 3 electrons to 2 electrons, and the third can therefore lose another electron. And when you lose a third electron, you're left with only 1 electron. So that's what happens. And then you can also lose the fourth one. So if I scroll down, I'll make the first ionization energy of beryllium. So the white one is the first, then second, then third, and the fourth one would be beryllium 3 plus with 1 electron, becoming beryllium 4 plus. Now it has 0 electrons in its atom. It had 4 and I removed 1 by 1. That first one was, you can call it first ionization energy. The second one is second ionization energy, in short form IE. The third equation represents the third ionization energy, and the fourth represents the fourth ionization energy, where the first one means making a 1 plus ion from an atom. 2 plus means going from 1 plus to 2 plus after having lost the second electron. Third is losing the third electron to become 3 plus, and 3 plus to 4 plus is the fourth ionization energy. I can even give you the values, by the way, for these, just so that you have an idea. Like the first ionization energy of beryllium is somewhere in the 900s. This is obviously kilojoules per mole. Now we are going to study why these values change and how they change, and they are the proofs of shells. The second one is a little more than the first one. It's 1760. I will explain to you why it's more. The third one is much, much greater. It is 14,800 positive. The one was before that was 1,000, and this one is a whole 14,000 more. And the last one, the fourth ionization energy, is about 2,100 kilojoules per mole for beryllium. Now, why am I studying these? Well, the idea is that these values change because some what this means is that the last electron that requires 21,000 kilojoules of energy requires so much more energy because that electron must be pulled much more strongly by the nucleus than the first electron being removed. That means the electron that is being removed because of first ionization energy is held much less strongly than the last electron being removed, or the fourth ionization energy. And the idea simply means that because we know electrons are in different shells, also known as energy levels, the shells that are further away from the nucleus for beryllium will require less energy than the electrons in shells that are closer to the nucleus. Now, the first 2 electrons to be removed for beryllium are from the outermost shell, also known as the highest energy shell, as basically the valence shell is also known as the highest energy shell. As you go further away from the atom, the electron, the energy of the electrons and the shells increases. That's something that you want to keep in mind, all right? So basically, the valence shell is also called the highest energy shell. All right. So I want you guys to look at the general idea here. If you notice, the first two ionization energies, first and second, are 1000 approximately and 1700, and the second and third and the fourth are 14,000 and 21,000. So the reason is, and a very base idea is that the reason why the first two ionization energies are much lower than the last two, because the first two are about electrons being removed from the valence shell, the outermost shell. The electrons are further away, they are attracted less by the nucleus. The reason why the other two are much greater than the first two are because those two electrons are much closer to the nucleus, and hence therefore they require much more energy. I will also explain to you why the values increase anyways, but let's assume that ionization energy values are going to increase gradually anyways. Even then there's a much larger increase, and what we're going to show you is that it's this much larger increase that is evidence for different shells of in an atom. And one thing you need to remember, and we'll explain why, I will explain that successive ionization energies are going to gradually increase. So you'll always, if I show you nitrogen or sodium, even any other element, their successive ionization energies will increase always. But when and the basic idea is that you see, when you have fewer electrons left every time, they're going to repel each other less, so they'll be held more tightly. Then I'll explain that in a little more detail coming up. Okay, I don't want to use beryllium for the example, but I want to use something with more electrons like nitrogen or sodium. All right, but the idea is that, simply speaking, that the outermost electrons require the least amount of energy, then the ones closer to the nucleus will require more energy. And with this pattern, we can talk about the existence of shells and energy levels around the nucleus, and therefore hence we can have the electron structure of an atom. Now I'm going to show you the first successive ionization energies of nitrogen. That might help us to understand that in a little more detail. All right. And I'm going to show you the first ionization energy of nitrogen and then sodium. It might seem like an overkill, but I'm doing this so that I can explain this multiple times so we all get it. All right. So nitrogen has 7 electrons in the atom. I can remove all 7 of them. Here is a table that shows me all the 7 ionization energies of nitrogen. You can call them the successive ionization energies of nitrogen. Nitrogen having 7 protons and 7 electrons, and you can keep removing one by one all the 7 electrons. So when you remove the first one, it becomes 1 plus, then it becomes 1 plus, say 2 plus, then 2 plus to 3 plus, 3 plus to 4 plus, 4 plus to 5 plus, 5 plus to 6 plus, and 6 plus to 7 plus. And these are called the first 7, or the 7 ionization energies of nitrogen. The first one, so now you have to also be able to identify the, let's say, the third ionization energy of nitrogen. The third will be 2 plus becoming 3 plus. The sixth will be 5 plus becoming 6 plus. The fourth will be 3 plus becoming 4 plus. And the seventh is 6 plus becoming 7 plus.
Quick pause. If you're finding value in this explanation, there's so much more to discover at Alt Academy, where we break down every A-level concept with the same clarity. Now back to the video lesson.
And if you look at the values, they're all exothermic positive, and they gradually increase. So 2 things you'll notice: there is a gradual increase, and then there is a very large increase between the 5th and the 6th ionization energies. And basically what we're trying to prove to you is that because of the very large increase, there's a large divide here. What we realize is that these 2 electrons are closer to the nucleus than the top 5, which means that the first shell had 2 electrons and the second shell had 5. So first shell had 2 and the outermost shell had 5 electrons. Now if you graphically were to plot these values, then it'll be much more obvious the large increase. So let me scroll down to show you the same data for nitrogen represented in graphs. So here are the plotted on the y-axis ionization energies, on the x-axis the number of electrons being removed. And if I plot them, the ionization energies increase, but then there's a very large increase, and then the last 2. The first ionization energy, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and the 7th. And the first 5 require some energies and they increase. So there's a gradual increase, but then there's a very large increase, or we call a very large jump in values between the fifth and the sixth. Now what this indicates to us is that these two electrons are in the shell closer to the nucleus, and these ones are shell further away from the nucleus. We call them the closest is the first energy level, or the first shell. The second energy level, also known as the second shell. So you'll see me use the word energy level and shell interchangeably, because that's what they are. They are used interchangeably. All right. Now, before we discuss this large jump, we've got to talk about why is it that successive ionization energies are always greater than the previous ones. For example, when I talk about the fact that nitrogen was, let's talk about the first, let's say 7 protons, and that guy is becoming N plus and losing 1 electron. It goes from being a configuration of 2, 5 to 2, 4, 6 electrons. And the second ionization energy of nitrogen was N plus becoming N2 plus. And what we knew was the first was the delta H for the first reaction, the first ionization energy is plus 1400 kilojoules, and the second ionization energy is plus 2856 kilojoules. This is kilojoules per kJ per mole. KJ per mole. And obviously in the second ionization energy, you're going from 6 electrons to 5 electrons. So why is it that successive ionization energies are more endothermic? Or why is that the second ionization energy is always going to be higher than the first one? Okay, it can be explained in 2 ways. Is that fact that in the first scenario, you're removing an electron from a neutral atom, while in the second scenario, you're removing an electron from an already existing positive ion. Now the positive ion is going to net have an overall attraction more for the electron than a neutral atom. This can also hold true for 3 plus and 2 plus, because let's talk about the third ionization energy of nitrogen. The third is when 2 plus becomes 3 plus. Now you could say every time you lose 1 electron, it becomes harder to lose the next one, because if you remember the third ionization energy, obviously you can't remember, I'm telling you, it's about 4600. Okay, I'm approximating it. Now obviously the values are increasing, and why does the value increase? Because in the second ionization energy's case, I'm removing an electron from a 1 plus ion, while in the third ionization energy's case, I'm removing an electron from a 2 plus ion. A 1 plus ion is not going to pull the electron as much as a 2 plus ion is pulling the electron, even though the nucleus is pulling it, but it's the net charge of the ion that is preventing the electron from going out of the influence of the ion. So whenever I'm removing electrons, the more positive the initial ion is, the more energy I require to remove it. Okay, but it can also be better explained in terms of the electrons left, because you need to understand one thing, that even though the nucleus is pulling the electrons, it's also the electrons repelling each other. That's also happening in any atom that we don't tend to talk about. You see, nitrogen has 7 electrons. Now if I talk about nitrogen 7 electrons, each of the electrons are also repelling each other. You need to understand that. And in the first case, there are 7 repelling each other. In this case, there are only 6 repelling each other. In here, there are 5 repelling each other. Now, this is not just true for nitrogen, but for all elements. Now, let's say I'm talking about, for example, neon. Okay, and I want to talk about neon's case for a second, only because, let's talk about neon for that matter. Okay, I'm going to talk about the first 2 ionization energies of neon as an example to explain why successive ionization energies are going to be greater. So when a neon, which is 2,8, becomes an ion, it becomes neon plus. That can happen. That's called the first ionization energy of neon. And then when a neon ion becomes neon 2 plus, that would be called the second ionization energy of neon. Yeah. The first ionization energy of neon is about 2000. I'm approximating it, it's about 2000. And the second ionization energy of neon is about 4000. It's quite a lot greater. Now, why is the case? Now, in neon, basically, you had in the neon atom, you had 10 electrons that were being pulled by the nucleus whose charge was 10 plus, because neon's atomic number is 10, so its proton number is 10, but the 10 electrons are also repelling each other. While in neon plus, there are 9 electrons being attracted by 10 protons. So the 9 are repelling each other a lot less, which results in their net attraction being greater. Let me show this to you in a diagram. What I'm going to show you is that basically why would the electron being removed from Ne plus is held more strongly than the electron being removed from Ne or neon. So here is I have Ne becoming Ne plus. Now this Ne has neon has the atom has 2 and 8 in the first and second shell. Now neon plus has 2, 7. Now each and every electron, this is the first shell electrons and this is the second shell electrons of neon. All these outermost electrons are being attracted by the nucleus, and they're also repelling each other. But the attraction from the nucleus is greater than the repulsion. So now each has a net attraction. That is the difference between the attraction and the repulsion. That's 8 repelling each other. Now when you remove one electron, when this guy loses one to become Ne plus, the remainder are now 2 in the first and 7 in the second shell. So when the 7 repel each other, their repulsion decreases. There is less repulsion between the electrons, which means the electrons are pulled in more closely. So the electrons are going to be closer to the nucleus and attracted more. So when this fellow's electron, so now basically if there was a force required to remove, let's say, the guy at the top, let's call this force Fa, then the force required to lose the second guy, Fb. What you must realize is that Fb is a greater force than Fa because it's being pulled more strongly by the nucleus because the repulsion is less. So that's why the ionization energy for the first ionization energy for neon is there, but the second one is going to be greater than the first one because the repulsion between the remaining electrons will be less. Therefore, there are fewer electrons being pulled by more protons. So their repulsion is less and therefore the attraction is more. So remember that every successive ionization energy by default will be greater because every time you lose an electron, fewer electrons remain. They repel each other less. Therefore, their net attraction increases. Therefore, they become harder and harder to remove. All right? Okay. Now, we're going to go back to, so that should explain to you why all successive ionization energies are greater. Every time you lose one electron, the remainder are repelled less. So every time you lose an electron, the next ionization energy is always going to be greater, regardless of shells or not. Every time, because the repulsion, you're decreasing the repulsion between electrons. So that's that. Now we're going to take a look at a more detailed ionization energy, successive ionization energy for an atom with 3 shells. That's like sodium. Sodium's got 3 shells. So we can actually study the fact that sodium having 11 electrons, we can remove all the 11 electrons and therefore use that to prove that it has 3 different shells and its configuration is 281. Now that will go into more detail and we look at some more examples and some more questions, but that's in the next video lesson.
Hey there! If you found this A-level chemistry lesson helpful, why don't you head over to our website, altacademy.org, where you can sign up for the full A-level chemistry course. In addition to chemistry, you can sign up for physics, biology, math, or 4 other A-level subjects. Thousands of students have already taken the leap. What are you waiting for?